Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'd like if somebody can say if they can hear me. I had technical difficulties last time. Just an emoji or something. If they can hear me, it'd be great. Perfect. Hi, Dr. Sarcasm. Thank you. Cool. All right. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday, and it's the weekend finally. I'm streaming right now from Chicago, Illinois. So, yeah, pretty excited to be here. Just being checking around the city and whatnot. All right, so I want to wait just a few more minutes to see if more people will trickle in into the stream, and then we can start. But I can just give some highlights. So the point of the stream is just show you a little bit of how you can do Meadow development without the requirement of any hardware. Using just your machine, it helps you boost productivity dramatically. And I can show you. I will show you how I build my screens on my existing projects. I always start just using my computer first because that time of transferring stuff into your embedded device and then wait up to resets to boot up the whatever the OS that it's running and then finally see the end result. It's a little cumbersome, especially if you're doing HMI screens. So it's just faster just using it on your computer and just running it and closing it, doing adjustments of margin or whatever, keep running it, and then once you're happy with it, you can try it on your display. So this is an example that I have here. This is a live stream that I have a project lab here. Let me bring it up here. So this is a project that we call Cultivar. It's our reference open source project that is for an automated greenhouse. So Brian showed up in a keynote when we launched Meadow.Cloud. So it has some Meadow.Cloud integration. So we're constantly logging things onto the screen. But at the same time, we're using environmental. We're also doing some simulation here to send data because I don't have anything hooked up here. I'm not in a greenhouse. I'm in the office. So this is just all simulated things and just showing values, room temperature, room humidity, and just a value for emulating the soil moisture sensor. But I want to show you how you can reach these levels of HMI screens using just MicroLayout using Meadow. So first things first, let me go back to this solo view. And if we cover our latest release, which is V11, we added something really cool, really fantastic. It's what is called self-display. And basically, for Meadow.Desktop, we actually found a way to do cross-platform hardware, like cross-platform displays solution for using Meadow using .NET. So this is using Silk.NET. So if you go here to Silk.NET, it's a very cool cross-platform library that is a high-speed advanced .NET graphics. And it runs on everything. It runs on Mac. It runs on Linux. So no more fuzziness. Before, how we were doing creating displays for Meadow.Desktop was using WinForms for Windows and GTK on Linux and Mac, which in some cases they didn't have those libraries, so you need to install them yourself, and then you will be able to make it work. But now, if you only have .NET installed, which is like the first step on getting started and starting with Meadow, you will already be able to run Silk.NET. So let me show you just a quick demo here how that looks like. So I got here my latest version of the template. So if I open here Meadow.Desktop app, and let's call this Hello Silk. And create. And basically here, just a run-of-the-mill Meadow application for Meadow.Desktop, and it has a little bit, a few differences. So notice it's running .NET 8. .NET 8, pretty awesome. It has, we're using latest language, Sharp version number 10. And these are three NuGet packages that we're using. We're using a Meadow.Desktop, but this one already includes the display that I'm talking about and has a Meadow Foundation. So if you have the option, you want to plug in more hardware onto your desktop using FT232 expander and MicroLayout. This is our in-house library to my screens, and I think it's really powerful, really handy to build out screen. So let's run this real quick so you can see what. So let's do build. All right, build succeeded. Now I have to run this, and this will open a window. And this open a window that looks like this, and it just has a message saying "Hello World" here. So if I close this, notice that display controller. This starts what is called a display screen. That's part for MicroLayout. So you first need to build up the screen that you want to run. I mean, where you want to draw or add your controls. So then you access display.controls and start adding different controls. In this case, we have a label here, so you need to specify. This acts as an absolute layout, so you need to specify four things. So it will be like the x and y coordinates of the top corner of the element, and then the width and height of the region that you want to draw. So this display, for example, I mean, this label that I'm drawing here is going from 0 to 0, so it's one corner, and the width and height will be the width and height of the screen. So it's taking up the entire screen here, and I do text hello layout, and we have some alignments here to put them on the center, and I can also specify here the font. And the link in the email took me to the LinkedIn, which is there, where people are probably still waiting. I didn't know you were on Twitch until I went from Twitch. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Let me do this. Let me see if I can share this. Thank you for the tip. Let me check this out. Give me. Oh, it shows up here live, but I can find myself. Where is that post? Give me 1 second, please. I can do is a repost and then repost with thoughts. Put it also. I'll put the post on. Where is my section here? Yeah, I don't know. Still very not familiar with. Oh, can I copy this? Copy link. It's this thing. Post. I'll try this. Somebody or people can come in. No. Thank you, Trey. I appreciate it. I want to get as many viewers as we can. So thank you for that. And yeah, sorry for the mix up. I'll try to see if I can post a link on on LinkedIn event next time. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm doing StreamYard, so I'm streaming right now on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, and even on Instagram this time. So to all there, thank you and welcome. I got 19 views, 19 viewers. That's good. So all right. So as I was saying, and people who have just joined, I'm just going a little bit over the template that we have for Meadow.Desktop, and now we don't have any funniness about adding WinForms on Windows or making sure you have GTK installed on Linux and Mac. Now the displays for Meadow.Desktop are now powered by Silk.net. It's a high performance cross-platform .NET graphics library. So once you have .NET running on your machine, it's almost guaranteed that when you run a Meadow.Desktop, it'll just start up a Silk display, and you eventually see your window opening. And there are people in the chat on LinkedIn. Oh, okay. Let me see. Let me open up. All right, I'm here also in the chat here of LinkedIn. Hello. Okay. Oh, there's me. Okay, cool. Okay, as I was saying, so this is also really cool. Check out this. We have this instruction here. Let me put this a little bit here, full screen. So we have device.display.resize, right? So when it does this is from the device, which in this case is my desktop, we're exposing a device that in the end is just going to be a silk display, and we can do a resize here. So you can specify whatever resolution you want. So I'm doing 320 by 240 because that's about the size of our resolution of our project lab. And then we have this extra parameter here that is actually the scaling. So we can do a display scale. So for those folks that have even 5K or 4K displays, if you just do it, if you do it without the scaling, then it'll take it, like it's just going to look super small. So we are able to add scaling as well. So I would put here, say, scale it 3 times. Then all the pixels are even going to look 3 times as big, so you get to see something like this. So it'll be easier to see, right? That's basically a way to show this show like graphics on HMI screens on your just using your computer. So let's do something here. Let's see if I can do something real quick here. We have Meadow Foundation installed in our project. So let me go. So let me see. I'm going to add a simulated temperature sensor. What's it called? I think it's temperature simulated, I think. I think this oh, here we go. Simulated temperature sensor. There we go. Cool. And now I can do is temperature simulated. I can do new. And then here we can do like, we can specify temperature sensor, perfect, and then to 20. And then the units are Celsius. So remember that our values here are all our units, all our values here in sensors and readings are all unitized. This is pretty cool. That way you don't get any mix up of things with Fahrenheit or start mixing, apples and oranges. So then we can do initial temperature. And then I think I can add a second one, I think. Minimum temperature, maximum temperature. Oh, the initial one, okay. 3, and then here. So I can do maybe I'll do initial 20, and I can go 20, for example. So here we're just creating just a simulated temperature sensor. So if I do here, just start updating. So start updating means it's a mechanism that we have for sensors that is like, all right, you're going to start reading, you're going to take just a thread or a task, an independent task, and you're going to read periodically. So we can do things like, I want you to read time span, seconds. And so this will tell you the sensor, I want you to start reading the temperature value every 3 seconds, right? And so now it's like, okay, we're already doing that, but then we have this event that is updated. And when it does the updated means that every 3 seconds, the updated, it's an event that fires whenever it has doing a reading on temperature. And so here we can do a display controller. Let me turn this a little bit too long here, but it's okay. So I want to show you something even more. Display controller, even like this. Right, and then for a display controller, so I'll need this to turn it into a label. So I'm going to make this a label. I mean, make it accessible here, public label temp consent here. Okay, and then what I'll do here is I'll just declare this label here and grab this. Now I have my object. There we go. I'm actually going to rename this to make it. Okay, so now what did I do? I made this a property, public property, and a temperature label, and I created here the object, and I put this. I'm adding it into the controls, but now I can make it accessible to here from the Meadow app. So if I do that, then I do display controller, temperature label, text, and then I do $, and I can do .new Celsius. Let's do 1 decimal here, and oh, I don't have a numpad, so I don't know what's the degree sign symbol here. I'll just put a C here perhaps. Okay, so this, what we're doing here, we replace that hello world, and now we're going to show its actual a value for Celsius. Every second we'll be updating. So let's see. There we go. So we're actually doing a simulation. This is Meadow.Desktop with a simulated temperature sensor. So that way you got a gist about how things are looking into your HMI. There might be some things that you have humidity, so it can go from 99% to 100%. So it expands a little bit, and I've dealt with that as well. So I've been playing a lot with my HMI screen here for Cultivar, which is the one that I have here on the side. And let me show you that again. And welcome to everybody that are joining late. We're still doing a demo here. I'm at a desktop and simulation. If I do a solo layout here. So yeah, this is a project lab running in Cultivar, our IoT reference project that is for a smart greenhouse. So we have things like temperature here, humidity, which are right here in the office from the environmental sensor that Meadow has. We're simulating a soil moisture sensor, and there's some status of different things that we can control the conditions of the greenhouse. So we got light, we got vents, we got water, and we got a heater as well when it gets pretty cold. So let me go back here. There we go. Okay, so Rick, trying to wrap up what this demo does is we added a simulated temperature sensor, and you can specify when creating one, you can specify the initial value that the temperature will have, along with a minimum and a maximum values. And then when you do a start updating, you're actually telling the sensor that every 3 seconds, as is specified here in the time span, to actually simulate that you're reading every 3 seconds, and we are capturing those readings or monitoring those readings every with the updated event here. And now we're calling the display. We're accessing the temperature label from the display controller, accessing its as property text, and then we're putting here the value. And so this is all just automatically, and it'll start refreshing. So this is just the gist of like whenever I'm starting to work on some HMI screens. But sometimes not even I want to simulate first. I want to first try to lay out all my light all the elements that I plan to put here. So let me show you a little bit of, see if I can open Figma. I have so many things open. I'm streaming from a little laptop here, so I'm gonna close this for now, and then we're gonna go a little bit more advanced. Oh my goodness. If anybody has any questions or comments, please fill out in the chat to let me know. Um, Also, please let me know if you guys are any of you are working on Meadow, any Meadow projects. Um, have you worked with micrographics or MicroLayout? That would be great. I don't know what's wrong with my computer. Boy. Oh, okay. I'm back. Ah, there we go. Perfect. All right. So this is this is something because I want to kind of walk you through my process of building screens for these projects, especially that I want to run them on my project lab. So I always need to take consideration the resolution. Mostly is 320 by 240, not many pixels, but enough to do cool things. Um, and so I have a large variety of screens that I've been working over the years. Um, and I have these samples, mostly of these samples, these screens here. They're readily available on our Meadow samples repo. This is one for Meadow.Cloud with trying to switch relays remotely with Meadow.Cloud's command. This one is for sending logs. But then eventually we get things more complicated. I built this one a while back, trying to get the project lab demo sample to be a little bit more interesting. So we have microlayouts, we have line charts as well. It's pretty cool. We have also all sorts of different font sizes as well. And this was the initial version of the Cultivar layout. So I had temperature, humidity, soil moisture, and I had the values on each one, and then I had my statuses here, but then you can see how I do it. And now this will be like the 2.0 version. I just have like the gist of it of where I want to put things, and then I start writing out there the coordinates, and I put them on my. It's not ideal because they are hard coded, but in the end, I just want to intend to run it here and not run it like in multiple screens. That's where I would need to be more fancy and start building formulas and try to find a way to make it flexible to it's able to accommodate a bunch of screens. Um, so this is basically what the one that it looks like that I have right now. Okay, so let's go back, and I'm going to close this, and I'm going to open the Cultivar project. Cultivar here. Cultivar is open source, by the way, so you can feel free to go there, and you can after the stream you can check it out and try it out yourself. Again, there's in some projects you don't even need a project lab. You can just run it. You can just run the project locally on your machine and get just about how Meadow works. You see how intuitive it is. So, I've been working on it for a while. But anyways, so I showed you how I make a layout using Figma, and I have all these layouts. And so I'm like, all right, let's turn that and put it into an actual screen. So for that enters another project that I call whatever project underscore HMI. And I have a display controller here. And this is where I basically just write all the code for my screen. So notice I have pictures here, which are my Wi-Fi cloud indicators. I got labels. These are the labels for the temperature, humidity, pressure here. I need to expose them because I will change them later on. The ones that I don't need, things like this one that says temperature, humidity, I can just add them directly into controls and just forget about those. I got the circles too to draw the little circles. They'll go red and green whenever we send commands to turn on lights, whatever, and water and heater. And the other thing is that I haven't showed you yet is I want to add more things. I want to add maybe a splash screen when I run it, and it tells me the cultivar along with the version of it. And I also I also want to add, like, what if we add the ability to have over-the-air updates? So I have this thing running anywhere. Maybe Brian was running it on his greenhouse that he has over in Oregon, and no, there's no need to take this thing or bring your machine into the greenhouse and just plug it in and deploy a new version. So what if we have over-the-air updates? So I also made another over-the-air update screen. So have a progress bar and enough Jabber. Let me show you how this looks. So I have Meadow app here, and all right, I made one. This shows splash screen. I had a problem with it because there's a timing of threads difference here, but I'll show you one screen at a time so you can see them. So this is just the main data layout. So we've seen this one before. That's already in my project lab. And so you can see all the elements here. I have my Wi-Fi connector, my Meadow.Cloud. This tells me an indicator of when the log readings are being sent to the cloud. I have a little timer or a counter here that I want to monitor how many successful log entries have been sent to Meadow.Cloud. And I also have a status label here that I think right now is showing, it's showing the time from the Pacific time. And so yeah, it's a project that I'm working on. Let me see. Let me try 1 second. Let's see if I can show you the splash screen, how it looks like. So the splash screen is very simple, and all these apps are just parts of the existing Project Lab samples that we have in our Meadow samples app. So in our Meadow samples repository, so you can take a look. This one is the splash screen. So when it runs, it's going to load this into the Project Lab for 3 seconds, and it's going to then go and log in and go into the data view of Cultivar. So this is the second screen. So in this case, I just focused on how the screens are going to look, so I don't need to do any wait for anything to happen and then get to my screen. So that's the purpose of this Cultivar HMI. I just want to run it and see how the screen looks like. So if I do also display controller and then show update screen here, and I'm like, okay, so I want to have my update screen now. And oops, oh, I just showed twice. Oh, right, of course. I have the splash screen and the update screen are showing at the same time. Fine. Okay, so let's show update screen only this time. And that's it. It's going to show me the Cultivar version. And then there's a label here for the status. And we have a progress bar too. So as the over-the-air update is downloading, this periodically will update and that bar is going to fill up. And then once it's done, it's going to tell you more things about extracting the update, installing, and then resetting. And then you'll see a new version. If you bump it, then you'll see a new version change here. So basically, that's been the flow for me to build these screens. So if we have another closer look at the display controller, I'm only exposing here controls that I intend to change later. So in the case of the splash screen, I don't need to do anything. I just have the absolute layout. which is where I draw and I add all my controls, my logo, my labels for versions. And for the update screen, for example, I have a label for the cloud status. So it's a little status there that it'll tell you that I was saying updating. The progress bar, and that is right here. And there's also a percentage. Let's see, show you again. So this is a progress bar, and there's a percentage label as well. So I need to update those as I'm downloading the update. And yeah, it's a little verbose. We're trying to see if we can add styling or things like that to make it not having to do this all the time. We need to specify like the fonts and the colors and the alignments. But we're constantly trying to get this better and better. But for now, I think it's pretty handy compared using it for micrographics example. That micrographic is great for things doing like graphics like certain particles or for even Juego to write game loops or things like that. I feel like this is a little bit more intuitive to write things to build a UI screen. So the breakdown here is I have a splash screen, and here I load my splash screen, and I have a show method, a show splash screen. I would show it. So I have it ordered like methods to actually load all the controls, and then I have a show method to actually, show the layout onto the display, and I have these methods to update labels. So status labels, as I showed you before, you access the text property to the new value of the text, and then all that will just go and update right away. And here's finally my over-the-air update screen as well. And same deal, I have a load over-the-air update screen, and then I assign the absolute layout, and then I start adding everything to my new update screen. Absolute layout. So here's my version, label for a cloud status, my progress bar, and all this thing. MicroLayouts is I think it's nicely. Let me open here. Can I do this? Okay. Here's a little slow because it has a lot of stuff open. There's docs on our developer site, so you can take a look and find examples of controls that you're looking for. Let's see if I insist. I want to see if I can. Here we go. Developer. Go here. Go to Meadow OS. There we go, and then we go to Meadow Foundation here, and then libraries and frameworks, MicroLayout library. And then here is a list of all the different, there's a walking through of how you start. And then there's all different controls. There's box, there's a new gradient box as well, circles, labels, images, line charts. There's this new one called vertical bar. I haven't used this one yet. Chris wrote it for another project he was working on. Progress bar, which is the one that we're going to use for showing the progress of an over-the-air update. And we have buttons too. Yeah, we have a button. And I think it's now supported to actually use touchscreens. I haven't tried that one yet. And there's also all sorts of samples. There's one for an interactive menu, so you can take a look and just try it out yourself. And all this, again, I emphasize that all this is available to Meadow samples. So if you're starting out, you can just grab some of these projects and put them together. That's basically what I've done with Cultivar. Like I have, if you notice this one, this is the Meadow.Cloud to push over the air updates, the screen. It's basically the same one that I'm going to add to Cultivar so you guys can see it. And this project as well is for environmental, or these project samples have also splash screen. So when you run it, it will have a little Meadow logo on it, and then it will go into the main screen. So it's just about grabbing these samples and just tweaking them and put them all together, and then you have something interesting. So this is for the Cultivar HMI, but then this for the Cultivar folder, those we can get even ahead and just not only have a project that is a Meadow.Desktop and a Meadow app that runs a Quick Lab that are like independent projects, but they work about the same. So we have this new way that we have a core project, right? And then depending on the hardware that you're running it, you can just access or reference this Cultivar core project, and then you pass in the type of hardware that you're working on or what platform, and it'll try to run as close as you can get, right? So let me show you how this one looks like. If I have Cultivar here, and I run this Cultivar desktop, notice here that we have basically what we need to pass in is just all the different configurations have different sets of hardware, right? So we have, let me see this is running. This is the splash screen that is not showing. I want to see if I can find a way to emulate it, but then we go back into just try to emulate this. So I think this is very similar to the one that I showed you before for HMI, but in this case, we're just, I'm going to show you how it looks like. So as I was saying, we can declare interface where we define all the different hardware that the project is going to use. So we have a vent fan, we have a heater, irrigation lines, lights, and then we have an eye temperature sensor, humidity. We also have like a speaker if you want to throw like an alarm or something. And then we have some buttons too. And then for the Meadow.Desktop, we're just gonna, in this case, we're just only declaring the objects of the hardware that we're going to use. In this case, notice that we have simulated humidity sensor and a moisture sensor and a temperature sensor. That's pretty much it. And as for the Meadow app, so we're creating the display, we're resizing it, and then we create the greenhouse simulated hardware, and then we pass this into a main controller along with our greenhouse hardware, and we're sending also an is simulator boolean. So we don't try to do crazy things that the Meadow.Desktop doesn't have. So we have, to a certain point, we can only just simulate. So we send all this to the main controller, and main controller lives on the Meadow core, on the Cultivar core project. So here, it's an abstraction of like, regardless of the hardware we have, we check things like we initialize a cloud logger so we can send the logs into Meadow.Cloud, and we check if it's not a simulator, then we can subscribe to commands. So we can send commands over the Meadow.Cloud to control and toggle lights and heater and all that. And we also do a subscribe to cloud connection event. So that's under the hood. When you run a Meadow application, it's just going to start logging to Meadow.Cloud and the authentication and start sending values onto the cloud. So there's wire network events. That's for Meadow. These are just cloud subscriptions. So this is handy because you'll get to see for things like when this is an update available, this one will fire an event, and then you can show it on the display. And then as it's downloading, you can also retrieve progress. This will tell you in percentage of how much periodically how your download is going, and then you kind of update it. Retrieve is once it's finished downloading the over-the-air update. And we also have an indicator for when the connection of the Meadow.Cloud changes. If there's any mix up with Wi-Fi, things like that, it'll tell you, and to make sure that you're aware of the things that are happening. Okay, so let me see. So as I show you all this, I want to show you how this runs on the project lab. So I'm just going to reset my project lab. Let me first build it for you first. We can go back to the Cultivar core. Okay, that built. Excellent. And where's my? Oh, I need to put on my Wi-Fi credentials here. It's fine. I have it's just it was this. I think that's fine. I'm checking this later. Then I have that. And now, if I reset this, then I'm going to deploy. So you're going to see if I go to the main controller, for example, I'm already there, actually. Notice here, we're doing hardware display. And I'm like, this is just checking if the hardware is coming. Does it have a display? And if it does, I'm going to assign it to the display, like local field on the if here. And then I check if it's a simulator or not to rotate the screen. And then I proceed and I show a screen. Wait 3 seconds, show the data screen. Let me see, my lab is running right now. And it should start in time. And see some chatter on the Visual Studio. Come on, buddy, don't let me down. Let's keep the suspense sometimes, you know. Any questions, anybody? I'm checking the chat. I don't see anybody writing something there. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's restarting. Now we're gonna see something soon. Hold on. Meadow is enabled. It's gonna start the project lab. File system initialized. Initializing. So there we go. Lights up. All right, screen is up. Just show a splash screen here for 3 seconds. It should. There it is. Cultivar 1.4 for 3 seconds, and we'll show a little faster, and then it finally shows my data screen. Whew, okay. you can see what I'm talking about, right? That's the thing about working with embedded devices, that sometimes it might take a while when you're running, like if you're just working on screens, for example, figure out all that downtime that you have when it's trying to like transferring the files, resetting, then starting up the runtime or the OS, and then starting up all the hardware, initializing everything, and then you finally see your screen that you're looking for. That's why like having an HMI screen using Meadow.Desktop is just faster, right? So we have a display screen. I'm going to show you a little bit more. Let's go further. I don't want to do some live code because this is all open source and I can move faster. I can show you where you can get. So you can see here in the output that it had logged in successfully using Meadow.Cloud, and there's some subscriptions here. You can see that it's waiting for over-the-air updates, things like that, and the tail network and QTT. So now that it's all done there, we're going to see that. There we go. We're starting to use Meadow.Cloud using log events and throwing these readings onto Meadow.Cloud. So we can go see them in our cloud site. And we also have something called health metric. So this is also really cool. So you can monitor the state of how your Meadow device or your project is doing. If you have it somewhere outside, you don't have a screen, you can go onto Meadow.Cloud and you can see how the state of your devices that are in production, how they're doing. And in cases one has stopped giving you a heartbeat, then you can go see what's the problem. The internet must have fallen out or ran out of battery, things like that. Let me show you. Let me see. Choke the machine again. All right. Okay. Am I good? I think so. Okay, so we have here Meadow.Cloud, which is free for everybody, to 100 devices or something. I don't remember the pricing, but I think you managed up to 25 devices. But this is more than plenty. All the perks that you can have in the free tier trying out Meadow.Cloud. And first thing will be that you need to provision your devices so you can add them as a way of linking your devices to your Meadow.Cloud account. And then once you do that, this one is Project Lab Black. I have other Project Labs that have different color enclosures. So I have like a white and blue one. In this case, notice there's a last heartbeat. It's 2 minutes ago. And I have health metrics to be sending me life signals every 5 minutes. So for now, good. And if I go here to logs, for example, this is also doing cloud reporting, like error reporting too. So it'll tell me whenever there was like a down or like problem with the network or any other issues, then you can get to see them now here on Meadow.Cloud, which is really awesome. And if we go to the events category, now this is the log that I was talking about. So we have the atmospheric readings that I'm doing from from the Cultivar app, and just throwing one every minute. So notice we have here temperature Celsius, humidity, and moisture sensor as well. And I have a little log ID here to make sure that the one that I have on my screen matches the one that we have here. Try to compare, and because this is a project we're using to test long-term reliability of our platform and stability. So this project used to run like 3 hours. Now we made progress to this run over like for weeks. So we're constantly trying to get it to improve. So this is just being more stable and robust. In the end, this is going to be already in production, and so we want it to be super stable. Okay, so this is for log events, and you can also see logs here as well. And Cultivar started. And let me show you again how in code how this looks like. Can I do this? Give me 1 second. Okay. Let me go back here. I'm going to show you a few things for harnessing Meadow.Cloud. I know this has deviated a little bit about simulation of Meadow.Desktop, but I just want to give you a glimpse of or have an understanding of how going from building screens using HMI simulation and Meadow.Desktop to actually building something that is sort of like a closed-end product. Because eventually all these things that you're doing with simulation is going to run on hardware. Um, so to try to do things like health metrics, we go to your Meadow config file, and right, sorry, the app config, yes. So we have these are also added into the templates for your Meadow application. So you need to remember values for settings. You just need to comment or uncomment these settings. They'll look like this. So you just need to decomment and you uncomment and you're ready to go. So in this case, we have a Meadow.Cloud section on your configuration file, and we're like enabling Meadow.Cloud. So this already enables logging events, command and control. And then this one is to enable updates. So this one is to receive over-the-air updates, as the name suggests there in the comment. And here is to enable health metrics. So we have a health metrics configuration, which is true. And we also need to specify how often we want to give a heartbeat report to Meadow.Cloud to see if you're still alive. So every 5 minutes here. That's what I showed you in our Meadow.Cloud site. all that. And now I have about 10 minutes left, so let me see if I can, let's try to do, an over-the-air update. So first thing, I'm not going to do any changes because the only thing that I want to make changes. So take a look here. Let's make something different here. I'm just bumping a version, which is a sample that I have for Project Lab over the update. You just bump a version, their value, and then just make a build and just throw it into here. I was testing it without this, and I was testing it as I was doing more changes. It takes a while the update to go through. This is just a good example to see and validate that already our update is working. So I go and I bump this version here, and now let's open a command prompt. Okay, and now let's set CD cultivar. We gotta go to our Meadow app site. So Meadow cultivar, Meadow app, and then Meadow.Cloud package create. And I put a name. I'm going to put cultivar 1.5 MP. It stands like for Meadow. So if I do that, this is, I'm doing this, by the way, with the Meadow command line interface, so the Meadow CLI. This is a tool that it's also in your getting started, an essential tool for things like Visual Studio Code. You can just use their CLI to build, trim, deploy applications. And in this case, we're using the Meadow.Cloud commands to create a package, and we'll upload a package into Meadow.Cloud. And you can even do things like publish package via the CLI. I'm going to show you how to do it via the Meadow.Cloud website. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. I hope you're learning a little bit of everything that we're covering. But yeah, we'll keep also this, and my voice is lagging. I think my Wi-Fi might be acting up for a bit. I think I'm also using a lot of resources when building, streaming, and so that might be cutting off my microphone. Okay, let me know if it's good now. I think it should be okay. So we created a new impact package here. So now if we do Meadow Cloud package upload, and then copy this to be the relative directory. Package upload dot. So this is the command to upload the package onto Cultivar. So this should be faster. Well, it depends on your internet connection. Upload complete. Okay, so finally, we go to my Meadow.Cloud site, and we go to packages. Then you can see my latest project here, Cultivar 1.5 or _5 and pack. Now what's left is we click this publish button here. And when we click publish, I'll do it real quick. I'll do publish. And if I go here, go to the output, you'll see an updater message received, right? And now it's going to say, okay, we received the device OS version, and now starting to download. And you can see here on the project layout that I have uploaded. I have I'm loading my over-the-air update screen, and it's showing that we're downloading the update. At the same time, you can also see as this is downloading, you can also see the periodic updates here of the download and see how we're doing downloading the file. So the current status of over-the-air updates is even making that small change, it was just a valid version. We're packaging the entire project, DLLs and everything, just uploading it to the cloud. And then it means that it has to download the entire thing if it was just for one line of code. But it's on the roadmap that when we do things like that, it'll just update the package, and the size will be about the same size of depending on how big your changes was. So in this case, if I only change one value, it would be in the, I don't know, maybe in the kilobytes. I'm now just throwing random numbers, but it'll be a much lighter package. So the update downloading it is going to be faster. It's going to be quicker to download because the file is smaller, and the array update overall is going to be much faster. So once we finish doing the update here, it's gonna say extracting the update, and then it will finally reset the device, and then it'll finally show the Cultivar version 1.5. Now I gotta say, this is not only for apps that you want to specify just application versions. We're also doing Meadow OS updates as well. So if there is a discrepancy of the version of your project lab of the OS versus to the one that version that you're specifying in the package, Meadow.Cloud will download, or the Meadow device will download that first binaries, and then it'll flash the version to match it, and then it'll finally run the package on the updated app on your phone. So, okay, this is that. You wrote there is spam. Pay attention to that. So we are at 74%. It's time. Over-the-air updates takes a bit right now. So again, this will be much faster once we get that perk of just uploading whatever we need. One second. Okay, Mark, back to HMI. Could one do a screen in SIL.NET for mobile devices that mirror the Meadow and Windows version? That's a good question. I think it can be possible, because we have gone through the extent that we were able to run or simulate HMI screens and micrographics. We can do them on Avalonia apps as well. We even did it in Maui at some point. So we go here, Meadow.Desktop, for example. Notice we have here an app that is with Avalonia and one with Maui. So there's integration for that. So I think it shouldn't be too hard to make. So I wouldn't have to look how to do it. Maybe you can file a feature request or a sample request on our Meadow issues repo, and then we can take a look and try to come up with a version or the sample to do that if you'd like. But yeah, I think it should be doable. No problem. And another sample. Oh, update complete. Cool. So layout. Let's see here. A little out of focus. Download complete. Now it's going to move on to extract the Well, I hope it does. Failed to download update. Oh yes. Was this completed successfully? Trying attempt 1 of 10 milliseconds. Ah, yeah. Seems like I'm not sure if this is gonna work out. Um, you know, I think my sample just broke here. This is client request. Oh, but it'll still be logging though. Failed to download. I think there was a hiccup on my network. Continue. Continue. Uh, yeah. Yeah, see, it's reporting a cloud error. The same failed to download after 296 seconds. That's a shame. Okay, well, so what would happen in the happy case is it'll download finish downloading. It'll extract the new package that it download. It'll apply it onto the device. It'll reset, and it'll just say Cultivar version 1.5 on the splash screen, and then load up the data screen. And unfortunately, my network, I think, took a little bit of a hiccup here, and it didn't work out. So I think it might be reporting a bunch of errors here. Let's see, yeah. Okay, well, I tried. Oh, that's there's Chris asking a follow-up for Mark Wansel. If you also have any questions, feel free to join our public Slack. I'm going to leave it here on the chat so you guys can, if you want to jump in and continue the conversation, feel free. Where is that? I always no. Oh, I know where I can find it. We should put it there on this website. If I go to samples, support. There we go. Copy the link. So I'll leave this link here, and feel free to join our public Slack if you want to continue on the conversations or have any questions about all this. So that's basically what I wanted to show you today. So wrapping up what we showed you today, and all this will be in a on-demand replay if you want to take a look later. But we went all the way from starting a Meadow.Desktop application from a template. I gave you a glimpse of how we used simulated sensors. So we're using a simulated temperature sensor to really quickly update a label from the template. Then we move on to the Cultivar project. And from there, I showed you a little glimpse of how I built my layouts using Figma, and I have an HMI projects on a project like Cultivar HMI, and there I draw all my screens, and I can just run them using a Meadow app here. So I can take a look how they look, take a look at how I'm putting them together, and finally, once I'm happy of how everything is looking here, I can just copy this entire class and just paste them on my display controller in my actual project here. So this is the same class that I have on HMI, and just copying it over here. And let me fold these. And then I can just use this directly on my main controller to actually use like all the functionality of side of things, using over-the-air updates, Meadow.Cloud, things like that, and showing up the splash screen with the main controller. So if you have any more questions, feel free to write them. But thank you so much for everybody for joining in. And I hope I see you on the next stream. And don't forget to follow us on all our channels, subscribe to YouTube, and I'll see you all around. Thank you. Thank you for joining.